All right, so now we're gonna go into the planets. So the planets mean something, right? So the planets are a little bit harder because you have to go into scientific and mythology with the planets. So first, go into the myths, see what all the myths they're talking about. Try to get your hands on all the myths, from the Eastern myths of the planets to the Greek myths of the planet to the Egyptian myths of the planets. All the myths that you can come across. Get all of those and start trying to understand them and putting them into your own words and your own understanding. Then double back with the scientific information that we have, because remember, science is a part of spirituality. Like all of this is a science. So go to the science and read what the scientists are saying, and nothing you're reading you should be taking as truth. Everything is just information and knowledge. Everything's information and knowledge, which is subject to change. That's all. So you collect all the information that you can, and then sit down with yourself one day and map it out. Just like you put the zodiac signs in a circle, and you put their symbols, and you put the meanings of them. You can do the same things with the planets. You're gonna make another circle outside of that circle with the planets. So once you get the planets, all the mythology and the science, you're gonna be like, okay, what is this planet saying? Like for instance, Mercury. Mercury was named after one of the Greek gods. One of the Greek gods, which was also named Hermes, I believe, which was the messenger of the gods. Well, what's the messenger of the gods? The messenger of a god is a daemon. And what was the job of a daemon? Job of a daemon was to relay messages from humans to gods. Okay, so what is it? What is that meaning? So one of the meanings that I took from it was, okay, how do I contact God? Well, I contact God with my being, and I use my mind. So maybe Hermes, Mercury is talking about the mind, your thoughts. Maybe it's talking about thought force, the force of thoughts, or the channeling of thoughts. So that's kind of how I came to that conclusion, right? So for me, Mercury is space stream. It's a stream of space. It's a space. It's a certain type of pocket of space that streams. And what streams in that pocket of space? It could be my emotions. It could be my minds. It could be my spirit, my being, like all in totality. It's a space stream. So for me, that's what that means. Now, for you, it might mean something completely different. Because remember, this is your astrology. This is the understanding of yourself. So when you get lost, you can look to the stars, or you can look inwardly and figure out, okay, what do I need to do? Sometimes we can't just map it out in our heads and just remember it. Sometimes we need to write it down and look at it from time to time. When we get lost and we're feeling alone, that hey, okay, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be focusing on. Now, here's when the abstract logic comes into play. So logic is like 1, 2, 3 ABC. That's logic. Abstract logic is 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? But 2, 3, 4, 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's like, wait, how does that happen? Well, it's because of the way we have it here is written 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm really meaning it 3, 4, 2, 1 for a specific reason, but I'm writing it like this to be encrypted for a certain reason, right? It's meanings within meanings within meanings, which is abstract. So, because one person can read it and think one way, but then another person read it will think another way. It's abstract, but it's logical because the abstract has a channel to it. Like it has a point to it. Like there's a reason why it is this way. It's not just that way because it's completely abstract. It's abstract with a structure. So when you start getting the abstract logic, you start being able to put multiplicities together that don't necessarily go together. And you know how those people say, "Oh, well, dog is dog," and then if you turn it around, it means god. So really, God is dog. It's kind of like that, but not on that level, because that goes into etymology. And in order to get dog and God, yeah, they have the same letters, but you have to go through where did the word dog come from? Because the word dog, I'm sure, doesn't come from the same root word that God comes from. When you go back down through the language tree, because English is a Germanic language, right? God is a English word. English word came from the Germanic tree line. The Germanic the Germanic tree isn't as old as the Sanskrit or the Semitic tree line. So that means somewhere God, when you trace it all the way back to Latin, I'm sure that part of Latin has parts of Phoenician, Sanskrit, and Semitic languages mixed in with it that are pulling from it, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then whatever the Persians spoke too. Like, I'm sure it's mixed in there too. So, yeah, dog and God in English may have similar letters, but when you start breaking it down, pushing it past the genealogy of languages, I'm pretty sure dog and God don't have the same root word in whatever language you're going back to, and I'm actually gonna maybe do that a little bit later to verify that, but I'm pretty sure, right? But like, but that's the type of abstract logic I'm talking about. Like they're working the abstract logic, but they're just not taking it far enough. Which that's all of us. Even what I'm saying right now, I'm not taking it far enough. I'm just taking it to the point that I know it at. And maybe you are listening to this, but like, nah, like it's actually like this and this and this. And if anything in my videos, and you keep watching my videos, and like I'm saying everything that you already know, and it's not like everything you already know, as in like, yeah, this makes sense. But I'm talking about like you already like you literally know this, like you came to it on your own conclusions, you've thought about it before, then you probably need to be making videos too. You need to be making recordings and sharing your knowledge and sharing your thought process, so we can start building a larger mass community of aspirants to start living in this world and becoming and making this world into spiritual people instead of having them all brainwashed and sucked away into something else. But anyways, so I say all that to say, all right, so you got your planets and your constellations. The planets mean something. By this time, you already got the scientific and you got the mythology behind the planets. So you match the planets with their respective constellation, which it changes sometimes. So use your intuitive knowledge or use all of them interchangeably. So when this constellation has this planet in it, it's the most powerful, right? So let's say it's time of Capricorn, and it's time the time is Capricorn, and this wait let's say the sun is in Capricorn, and in the cycle of the moon, there's I'm tripping, hold on. All right, so it's the time of Capricorn, right? And then Saturn passes through Capricorn, whether it be on the annual cycle, whether it be on the seasonal cycle, whether it be on the lunar cycle, or whether it be on the calendar cycle of like 30 days or whatever. Like I guess still the moon cycle. No matter what cycle it's on, Saturn is in Capricorn, right? Whenever Saturn's in Capricorn, depending on what level it's in Capricorn at, is the level of that understanding of what that principle means to you is going to be enlightened. So let's say the moon is in Capricorn. Let's say the moon is in Capricorn in the time of Saturn, right? So the moon represents the inner self, right? The self that which the sun gives its light is the inner self. So we're in the time of Saturn and Capricorn. The moon the moon is going through Capricorn, so we have to be inside emotionally and mentally. We have to discipline ourselves on a certain type of level, and we'll have help from from the planet Saturn to do that when we use that energy. Now it's not like you have to call on Saturn to do this energy. Once the planets align like that, you'll be able to do it just based off social consciousness. Because remember, all these conjunctions and stuff have been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. People have mapped them out, did rituals to them, did all these things to them. So these energy waves are already already very vibrant. So even if you don't believe in this kind of stuff, it still affects people because in the um in the ether it's so strong because it's been happening for so long through social consciousness. So you don't have to do a ritual or anything unless like you want to. All you have to do is think about it. That's all you gotta do at this point. Back in the day, you had to do rituals and stuff. Now you have to think about it. That's how long this has been happening. Or same thing with like any other constellation. When the planet is there, if it's there in the sun, if it's there in the moon, that lets you know like what part of your life, like is it your higher self is it your higher self, or is it your ego getting the light? Is it the sun with the ego? Is it the sun that Capricorn's in? I mean that Saturn's passing by. That's giving you a certain type of conjunction or a certain type of passing or certain type of communication, and based on what level that Saturn is passing through, you'll sorry I keep saying this over and over. It's getting late, but basically, wherever wherever the planet is, it lets you know like what you need to concentrate on. And it's not like, oh, this planet's here, so you gotta concentrate on this. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you don't know like spiritually or mentally or emotionally or physically what to do, then astrology is a good idea to get into to help guide you, right? But it can only guide you in the way that you need to be guided is if you understand these principles alone on your own terms with your own understanding, not using what the horoscope said, not using what the myth says, but taking the understanding of what these stories are and putting them in your own principles, and the planets and their meanings and putting them into their own principles is how you're going to understand things, right? So once you start understanding things on that level, then you're able to use astrology for the benefit of who you are and what you want to do in your life. And then in the next part, I'll talk about the 13th, and then I'll wrap this introductory notes up.